The epitome of a hustler, and you're looking at the author. I'm considered one of the best, but I don't really like to boast. I'm on them planes every week, catching flights from coast to coast.
Hustlers, what's cracking, man? This is a new segment that we want to add to the YouTube channel. We want to call it Inside the Mind of a Hustler. We want to let you guys into that mindset, that thought process when I was actually in the game, because now I just coach and train. I fly around the country, help people go to that next level. So a lot of people don't get to see what it was like when I was actually selling day to day, learning the grind, getting better, developing the skill sets to where I'm at, right? So we're gonna be breaking down these last 10 years of roofing sales over these, however long it takes us, just these segments, right? But today for episode 1, what I wanna talk to you guys about is taking the leap. What was it like? What was that thought process? What was I sold? What actually made me do it? And then, we're gonna continue to break down, chunks of the grind, right? So let's talk about taking the leap, right? I don't know how y'all got into the industry, but I was blessed. I got into the industry from one of my really good friends. His really good friend saw me at a bar just vibing out, talking to anybody, right? And he was like, hey man, I got a job I think you'd be great at. I said, I'm down. And it turns out it was door-to-door sales. First I needed to get a car. I didn't have a car at the time. I ended up getting a vehicle and I told him, hey man, I got a car now. So I went in for the interview. They gave me the makeshift interview pretty much. He told me like his weakest guy make $800 a week. And in my mind, I'm a competitive guy. And I was like, man, if your weakest guy make $800 a week, I know I can do that. At the time I was working at Sam's Club because it was close to my house because I didn't have a vehicle. It was in walking distance, right? So I go home excited, tell my kids, the mom, I'm like, hey, I got a job. She's like, doing what? I'm like, door-to-door sales, right? And this part is crucial because my kids, the mom was extremely supportive. She didn't say, hell no, you can't do that. But she did give me a goal and she said, well, you got a month to make this happen or you need to find a real job, right? So that was kind of like the mindset, like, okay, I only got 30 days to make this thing a reality. They told me they're gonna pay me $200 for every claim that I filed. So I'm like, okay, I can't get paid immediately. So I looked at it as like, this is my opportunity to prove to my girl that, hey, you can trust me and put your faith in me that I'm gonna be able to produce to take care of the family. My son was born February 4th. I closed my first roofing deal February 6th. So I got into roofing sales like late January, February. And my first deal was a lay down. It was one of the homies in the hood. It was his mom. I didn't know it was his mom. I just ran the appointment and it turns out it's his mom. So I'm like, I know your son. So I closed my first deal, right? So the reason why I was so eager to take the door-to-door job was because we made a commitment, which was we didn't want our son to go to daycare. And we didn't know how we was gonna make that happen. And the only thing that made sense in our mind was opposite schedules, right? So I had to take care of my son during the daytime, grind in the evenings, and she would come home from work and take over that duty. So once we first got into the game, obviously we had maternity leave. So we had like those first 4 weeks off, 6 weeks off, whatever it was. So I had 6 weeks to really dedicate time to the grind. So my kids, the mom, I stay home with her a little bit during the day, then I would go grind during the evenings. That's when I was getting my reps in. So first week I got into the grind. I ended up closing 4 deals my first week. And that's what kind of sold me on this thing. And I brought home my first check. It was $800. And she was like, okay, we might be on to something. I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was doing Sam's Club and I was doing roofing sales. So I would come to work 4 or 5 in the morning, work from Sam's Club from 5 until about 2:30, go home briefly, say what's up to the gang. And then I would go knock doors. And this was all during paternity leave until she went back to work. Then we started doing opposite schedules. So I was doing both for a while, for about, like I said, a month and a half. It got to a place to where Sam's Club was actually begging me to stay later. They was like, can you stay later? Can you stay later? And I was like, no, I need to go knock doors in the evenings. And then they told me I wasn't making no money knocking doors. And I laughed at them. I'm like, what? I make more money working here, right? I used to work 2 weeks at Sam's Club to make $600. My first week in roofing sales, I made $800. And I was making anywhere between, $400 to $800 a week when I first got started because I wasn't that good, but I was closing deals. So either way, I doubled my income. I was making $1,600 every 2 weeks versus $1,200 a month. So I told him, I was like, hey, I'm done. Put in my 2 weeks, quit Sam's Club, and I went all in on roofing sales. And it was perfect timing because we had made enough money to prove that this concept was real. My kids and mom went back to work. So now I needed to be a full-time parent. Well, not full-time, but take care of my son during the daytime so she can get him during the evenings. So we took this leap. That's kind of how we got into it. So I just want to let anybody know, like, if you're in those early stages of, is this for me or isn't this for me? I want to give you a few, like, just some insight. First thing first, man, make sure it's somebody you trust. So the guy that got me into this industry, I had a lot of trust for him because we hung out a few times. he didn't pitch me the first time we hung out, but we had a lot of trust. Second of all, he didn't sell me the dream. He didn't say you can make $100 grand doing this. He said my weakest guy make $800 a week. So I was already in the mindset, I know I can beat your weakest guy. So he sold me the right vision, which was you don't got to come in here and be the best. You just need to be better than the dude that's in last place who make $800 a week. And then third thing was I had that support from my spouse, right? Like my kids, the mom, she supported it. Don't get me wrong. She gave me a standard and an expectation, which I needed because I feel like sometimes you get in and your girl kind of not get involved with it and, you know, she don't put no pressure on you. So she put that pressure on me and that pressure was exactly what I needed. So if you hesitating on taking the leap, I want to encourage you, take the leap, man. It could change your life in ways you didn't even know was possible. So that's what it was like taking the leap, man. That's what really got me in the door-to-door sales. And once I got my first paycheck, I just had this big mindset shift. I said, I've been doing life all wrong. I've been dedicating so much time to make a little bit of money, not realizing that if I get good at something and I can get paid for my results, I can make way more money than working a bunch of hours to try to get paid per hour. So it shifted my mindset and I got on this result-focused mindset. And my slogan for like my first 3 years in roofing sales was part-time hours, full-time money. That was my slogan. Part-time hours, full-time money. And my boss hated it. Why? Because every new sales rep would hire, I'd be like, man, you only need to work 20 hours a week and you can make like $1,000 a week. And he used to hate that I said that because it's like, why not tell people to work 40 hours a week? And I'm like, because I don't. So I don't want to tell them to do something I don't do. But that was my mindset, part-time hours, full-time money when I got into this thing. And I used to get paid $200 per claim, like I said, man. So I didn't have to wait on no back-end checks. So it was easy to perform and get a check immediately. That's what kind of got me into door-to-door sales. That's what made me take that leap. So if you're watching this video and you're like, man, I want to get into door-to-door sales, make sure those three things align. Make sure somebody not selling you the dream. Make sure you trust the person that's trying to get you into this thing. And make sure you and your girl on the same page, because those three things are what allow you to build a great foundation and get your grind started, right? So listen, that's just inside the mind of a hustler, man. That's how we got here. That's what got us started. And understand, we're going to continue to keep unpacking the journey, the grind. What it was like my first few weeks, struggling, right? Not being able to close no deals, being terrified of no soliciting doors, just all of these things to build up to where we got to where we at today, man. So that's the inside the mind of a hustler. And like I say, baby, hustle hard, hustle smart. Don't be afraid to book.
Year 7, better buckle up your seatbelt. I was born broke, but the plan is to die with wealth.